can't do nothing without a kickstart. I got my icebox full of them. If Mountain Dew's watching, I love this shit. So back to the motor. I need to hurry and get it done. It's 9 o'clock at night. First things first is I need to install the rotary valve. I need to get my degree wheel, find my top dead center, see where I'm at, get this timed, and then I'm gonna go ahead and install that. Then once that's done, then I can put the PTO flywheel on, I can put the stator on, I can put the stator cover on, and then the carburetor would be put on. So this is the rotary cover plate. So this sits on there like this, and this rotary valve, it's actually timed. So what this does, it rotates, and these openings, so the carburetor is always sucking in, you know, vacuum's always been being pulled through that carburetor, always sucking in air and gas. So as it rotates, this is opening and closing each port for the cylinders, and that's actually timing it to allow the air and fuel mixture to get within it. So with this, the surface of it, if it looks like this one has been machined, it's been shaved down. They told me there's only 2 nicks in it, but I wish I could have seen it before, and it's rougher than I like. So it's gonna have to be resurfaced again. It's gonna have to be brought back to smooth surface. So they want it quick, so I'm gonna go ahead and install this back on there. But this, I'm gonna end up having to take this back apart and have it done right, and a new rotary valve is going to be bought. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and put it like this. It's not bad enough for me to say, hey, let's not do it at all. It's gonna get them by for when they want to run it, but it's gonna have to be resurfaced. So now let me go back to timing this thing. So whenever you're timing a SeaDoo motor, take you a marker, take you something, this pin, screwdriver, whatever you have at the time, put it in the cylinder. See, mine's already set. So I'm gonna take my degree wheel off because I already did it. So I don't know if you can see internally. So I can see my connecting rod right here, and then I can tell that it's all the way up. But let's say, you know, your piston's down. Rotate your engine, grabbing where your stator goes. So you're gonna grab where flywheel and stator goes. You're gonna rotate the engine until your marker starts coming up. See my marker starting to come up? So I'm gonna do that until I get top dead center. You can actually see the connecting rod and the counterbalance on the crank right here rotating. You better tell from right here by looking at it when it's top dead center, but look at your marker. So I'm gonna go until my marker gets all the way. Whenever it stops moving, you're gonna get to that point. All right, GoPro was messing up again. So let me go back by saying, so you want to find top dead center. Now, you see how it's starting to go down? I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's gonna start to go down. You turn it back counterclockwise. So I was turning it clockwise, and it's gonna start going back up, and it's get to the point where it stops. At that point, you have where the piston is all the way up. So when you're rotating it, it's going like this. And when you get to that point at top dead center, you have that where the crank wants to rotate like this. So your piston actually stays level. So that's where you want to find where your crank's perfectly straight up and down. And I don't know if you can see it on camera. Well, yeah, you can't really see in there, but you better tell what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna find that sweet spot in the center. So right there is where I find the centers at. So my marker's dead up. The piston's TDC, which is top dead center. So I'm done with that. Now you're gonna take your degree wheel. So you're gonna find your 360 mark. So you find your 360 degrees, which is right there. So see my 360 mark? I'm putting it on there, and I already did this already. So my mark's there. All right, I just want to let y'all know, those who are watching the videos, to learn about timing a rotary valve, I'll put a link up here to somebody who actually done it right. Because in this video, I noticed that I did do it wrong. I will be posting another video whenever I do it right. The motor's already in jet ski, so I'm gonna show you from that point on how to take it off to get to it with it in the hull. and actually time it within a hole. And so whenever I do post that video, you're gonna see the link. Go ahead and watch it. I'm gonna try to be as thorough as I can, but go ahead and watch this one for now until I get that situated. Again for the fan, but I did take this rotary valve cover and I had these block sands, so keeping the force down level as I could, slowly working it. Now I stayed on this thing for at least a solid hour and a half, 2 hours last night, just sanding it, not going any forceful, not going fast, just slowly. I did it both to this and the rotary valve because I put in an order in them, but just so happened the order disappeared, so I got to reuse what they have. This one was machined, but I didn't like how much they still left on it, so I went back over and I just steady sanded it little bit by little bit, keeping even strokes, cross hashing it. But whenever I was done, I had some 800 grit, so I took some 800 grit and I sprayed some knocker loose just to lubricate it, and I kind of wet sanded it a little bit to smoothen it out. But she's smooth. She's a lot less. She got the gouge is a lot less in it, so this will be a lot better than the way it was before. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on there. Finally, I can put it on there. Now I'm taking some zinc oil. Not putting much, just a little bit on my fingers, and I'm going to put it on the rotary valve. Before it actually starts, you know, lubricating itself with the oil from the ski itself. Okay, I located my two bolts. I got two different ones up top, so you can actually put a wrench in it and not have to fight for Allen head. Because with the Allen head, you fight for the clearance issue. With a wrench, you could just put it on there. So this is what I was talking about with notching it. I went ahead and notched it. Don't need to be pretty. I just need it to where it can slide on there. So I'm gonna take it. And it just slips. I can just slide it on and off now. But basically that's it. So I do is tighten it up, and the carburetor, I better take the plate off and get to the carburetor a lot easier than what it was. So that is done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the oil pump set up. It rides on a gear. Yeah, it meets in here. Okay. Cause this is, just like I said though, this is my first time doing it. Make sure my O-ring is all nice and clean. There's no grit, no nothing in here. The rotary valve, I did rotate everything, make sure everything's rotating smooth. As you can see, the rotary valve, you see how this was covered? See, it comes. And then now this one's gonna get the oil and the air mixture, and with the fuel. And that's how it circulates itself. So let me go ahead and start getting the pump ready. All right, another thing to ensure. So these little, I guess you could call them injectors for the oil pump. So these little tubes. Before I start putting everything back together, you just want to take some compressed air, put it on the end of the nipple. Don't need much. I already did them both, but you can feel the air blowing through it. As long as you can feel it's coming out clean and there's no trash in it, then you should be good to go. Okay, so I did put everything back on, and then your oil pump, what I did, I just wanted to make sure that it was working. So these lines were off, the oil injection lines were off, and I took my impact with a 10, because on the socket, I mean the sprocket internally, that draws off the drive gear inside the motor itself. I started turning it to make sure, and I put my thumb right here, because this is the suction. This is where your oil line is coming from the tank. So it's causing a suction, and it's gonna build up pressure, and it's gonna inject it inside the case. So I wanted to make sure that oil was gonna feed through. So what I did is I put my impact on it, rotating it, and I just put my thumb on it to see if I can feel a vacuum. And then actually, the old oil in it, I can see it starting to pump out the lines. So I was like, well, all right, I can see that is working, because it doesn't need much. I can see that is working. I kept on doing it just to make sure. I even did it backwards just to make sure it would blow back on me and I wasn't rotating the wrong way. So I was rotating the right way, and it was actually pulling a vacuum and pumping through these lines. This right here is actually gonna sit like this. So it took me a little while. I just wanted to make sure I was doing it right. So your spring hooks right here, and then it hooks right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it hooks right here. So this actually folds and it hooks to the carburetor. So the more throttle you give it, it opens. So this is what controls how much it's actually sending. So I just want to make sure all this is good, and I just want to show you because this is something I've seen. Now I did put my bolts in here. They're not tight. Everyone else is torqued down. I put 12 foot-pounds on the bottom too. 12 foot-pounds are gonna go in these, but these I put at 10. So I got all that done, and I did replace the gaskets. For this motor, this particular motor, it's a 41105 because SBT sends you 2 sets. I believe, I never really looked at the other set. I believe the other set is for the, because these motors do have a dual carb setup. I believe that's what that setup is for. So this is the PTO flywheel. I'm gonna go ahead clean a little bit of residual oil that I have right here. And if you haven't seen the video from before, the Honda, the Yamaha, the SeaDoo, the impeller tool that you actually use to take the impeller off, it's the same splines for this. So in case you're wondering what can I use, if you have this tool, this one was 14 bucks on Just Use International. So if you have this tool, it'll work perfect. So you just take it, put a socket on this end, and that's it. I mean, you can't get better than that. So I was able to have the tool on hand to take this off. Now this does have to be put in a vise or something sturdy, and you gotta break it loose. It is regular threads. You ain't gonna worry about that. It is regular threads. So, but you're gonna have to put out, and I brought it to work and put it in a vise, as you can see from the prior video. Alright, so I got the carburetor on. Is this bolt and this bolt. There's 2 Allen heads, and that size is going to be a 6mm. Right there. Alright, so got that bolted up. The carburetor's clean. So this is for your oil pump. So as you throttle it, so it pulls it does pull the throttle. As it throttles it, it pulls up on that lever. As it's rotating, this is just a valve opening so you can get more flow. So of course you know that the higher RPM this motor is rotating, you need more lubrication. So as you're running it, it's gonna allow more to run with it. I'm guessing that's giving the ratio. I think the normal ratio is 40:1. I don't remember. I don't know what these run at idle. I think I heard at one point it was like 50:1. So I'm guessing this just riches it to where you don't lose lubrication at the top end. So the carburetor part is done. I'm gonna go ahead and put that plate on. All right, so I just wanted to show you the plate. I know I talk about it a lot, but with an Allen head, I mean, look how nice this is. You can put a ratchet wrench in there. Now granted, this is Cornwell. I don't know how some of them may be thicker, but I can put a ratchet wrench on it, and it just makes life so easy. So before I put it in the ski, I am putting the hose on it, and I'm gonna connect it to the tank once it's in there. Since this hole is so hard to get to, I'm not gonna mess with it within the jet ski. So go ahead, I don't know if y'all want to or not, but this is just a tip that I'm doing. Go ahead and put this on that brass fitting with it out the jet ski. It'll save you a lot of headache. All right, so I'm about to put the flower on. I cleaned my surfaces out. I cleaned the flower itself. The shaft already comes with the keyway in it. As you can see it, maybe you can. Oh well. So I just got a couple more bolts to put in, but the cover's on, the stator's on. I just gotta put the flower on. I bolted up. I do have my line. I have it zip tied right here. Tie strap molded. I'm saying zip tied. Who says zip tied or tie strap? I say tie strap. I don't know if I guess that's just the way I do it. But just so it's not against the block getting hot, you know, it's out the way. There's no tension on it. So yeah, let me go ahead and put the flywheel back on. The only thing is you gotta make sure you see that groove in there. Make sure that is lined up. with that keyway at the bottom. All right, I just about got it done. I got a couple of miscellaneous things that I need to do. I do have the oil done. I need to find a way to pull the fuel out because it's got some old fuel in it. I did take apart the fuel filter, and it's the gas is nasty in it. So what I'm waiting for is to try to find a way. I have a highlight fuel pump, but man, I got so much stuff that I don't know where I put it at. So I'm gonna try to look for that to pull the fuel out of the tank and put some fresh fuel so I can put the SBT braking oil. So SBT requires you to put this in the fuel and still have oil inside your tank. So this is just for use for within an hour. So they do give you a ratio on the back for you to mix it in. And let's see, guys. So an hour, I'm gonna have to just let it sit on the hose for I guess that long. Just let it idle. But all right, so I want to say thank you for watching the video. Now, if there's anything that I need to work on, please let me know down in the comments. If you want, you can comment down below. I could give you some a way to message me directly, and we can talk that way if you need to know any more information. Now, in this video, I tried to explain the best I can with everything. Now, I am still learning on these jet skis. This was the first one I've ever worked on like this. So just bear with it, and I try to show as much as I can. Now, I will be showing there will be a separate video on the carburetor, just a little simple clip to where you can see on how it comes apart, how it goes back together, you know, in case you want to just clean your carburetor. There is another video coming out as well, and then it'll be the proper way on setting the rotary valve. So I found out mine needs to be set at 147, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, mine needs to be set at 147. So I'm gonna actually have to do it within the ski. So whenever I get to that, I'm gonna actually record it to where you know what to do from that point on redoing the rotary valve. And I will be showing the first startup, so you're gonna know you're gonna be there for the first startup and anything that else goes with it. So now, one thing is, whenever you are replacing the motor, be sure to put the SBT oil in it for braking. Make sure, you know, if you're gonna be doing it, make sure your gas is clean. You know, you take anything, just while you're there, just make sure you got everything clean. Cleanest, you'd be surprised how far that goes. So I just want to thank y'all for watching. If there's anything you need me to work on, go ahead and send me some feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
The sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. I'll take you to a place we can see it all. Step off the edge, I can break your fall. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. When you fall down, I'll get you back up again.